Follow the trail, Shinji. No, I'm gonna go in. Losing my boots for no reason. Uh, an old man. Not much, my dude. How's it going? I'm alive and slightly drunk and high. Amen, amen. How's it going? I'm playing some Ghost of Tsushima, and I am also high. Not drunk, though. Probably could be. I have vodka, but no reason to. I work tomorrow, and I work tomorrow in the morning, 5 a.m. So, 5 a.m. is when I have to get up. I work at like 6 a.m. I'm drinking vodka. Hey, that's the way. My horse is disappointing. Just broke, isn't it? Kind of my own fault, but still. What do I do for work? I work at Coca Cola as a merchandiser. So I put soda on shelves. Not sure how long I'll continue doing that for, but that's what I do at the moment. Damn. What shelves do you like? Go to different stores and put Coke on shelves? Yeah, basically. That's exactly what I do. Basically, sort of like local grocery stores and department stores and stuff like that that have like Coca-Cola products in stock. Coca-Cola, Powerade, Body Armor, Monster, stuff like that, and basically just put from their back rooms onto the shelves, pretty much. And if they come in from shipment, I have to do all that. That kind of sucks, but it's pretty much all I do. It's easy. Uh, well, shouldn't the workers for the specific store stock the shelves though? Sometimes they do, but typically we get paid as merchandisers to stock the shelves, at least in the morning. If it sells out, before then and there's some stuff left out on the floor and runs out, then the store will usually do it for us. But typically, we will merchandise everything and just put it on the store floor. They pay us to do that, I guess. They pay the company, and then the company pays us. It's kind of cool, I guess. Gives me a job, easy job. My friend says he likes it. Hell yeah. Do you like working? My friend says he likes it. Oh, I absolutely despise working with a burning passion. Uh, when it comes to working, the only thing here's the thing. I don't know actually. I was gonna say the only thing I'd like to do more than working, hate more than working is school. But even then, no. It depends on the class. If it's like anything in my philosophy department, I'd probably rather be at school than at work. So honestly, no. I hate work with a passion. The only thing that's good about it is it gives you money, and you need money to survive. But all of a sudden, like some European country where they like provide you with roof, like a house over your head, and like $1,000 a month, I could easily live off of that, and I would like never fucking work. So I only work because people forced me to come into existence, and fucking capitalists are greedy. Sim don't want to work, but maybe I'd be okay with living with some self sustainability, living off the land stuff. Yeah, that'd be awesome to live off the land. I just don't think I'd have like the skills to do that. I mean, we have the internet, so I mean, I could definitely learn the skills. I just can't be arsed. You know what I mean? It's just like, eh. I gotta shut me there. What do you like to do? Yeah, when it comes down to it, gaming, I guess. Hanging out with my friends sometimes, but it makes me feel like, like I'm wasting time whenever I do that. So lately, live streaming has kind of been the only thing that I enjoy doing without feeling like wasteful while I'm doing it, or activism. But activism kind of sucks. So like walking back and forth, just listening to music or videos, kind of sucks. So I mainly prefer to just play video games and or hang out with my friends. But yeah, I guess so. Basically, yeah, just kind of smoke and watch YouTube and stream and play video games, different sorts. Yeah, it's basically my things I do for fun. What do I do when I hang with friends? Mainly we just talk or we watch films. We smoke sometimes also. Depends on the friend group really. Some of my friend groups we always smoke and then we'll like talk or we'll game. Uh, some of them will just watch movies and then smoke. Other ones will go out maybe like a bar or go out to eat and we'll smoke. And other ones we won't smoke at all because they're a bunch of normies who don't want to do that because they obey the law. And well, some of them do, but like 50-50 of that from group though. So like some of them will smoke with me, the other half of them will like stay in and be sober baloney faces. Occasionally they'll take like a shot or something if we go to hang out at the bar. But other than that, we basically just like talk, watch movies, stuff like that. Damn, you have a lot of friends. Are you satisfied with the friendships you have? I have a lot of friends, but I don't know. I mean, I've been good friends with a lot of them for a long time. I mean, all I'm gonna say is I have a snap streak that's 1,300 and I think 65 days. Let me see what it's at right now. 1,395 days with my boy Jamie. Jamie's a girl, but I call her my boy. But yeah, I have some good friends. So some of them have been friends with Flint since like fourth grade. So I have close friends and stuff like that, and I like being friends with them. Unfortunately, not all of them are vegan, and none of them are really ethicists or antinatalists. The only one that I've been friends with who I actually respected as a human being kind of killed themselves a couple of months ago, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, my remaining friends are like they're fun to hang out with, but outside of that, I kind of don't respect them as human beings. I know what it's like to still have friends out of familiarity or habit. Yeah, it kind of it's. I'm gonna hang out with my friend Jamie because she's cool to hang out with. She at least listens to me and like respects my beliefs and stuff. She doesn't really buy into it because she's kind of, I don't know how you would say it. I mean, she's kind of like she's like you, but like less firm, I guess. She's not quite an antinatalist because she doesn't really think that like, I don't know, maybe someone like I'd have to hear your argument for antinatalism, like if you were like were to try to convince someone, but maybe you would be able to convince Jamie of antinatalism, just because like, frankly, she's like practically convinced of everything I say, but then like I'm basically like, okay, so you think it's bad to have children? And she's like, yeah. It's like the SpongeBob meme where it's like like the mantis guy or whatever, like and he's like talking to Patrick. It's like, okay, so you think it's unnecessary to bring people into the world. It's like, uh-huh. It's just like, okay, so you think there's tons of harms that come with being alive. Uh-huh. You think life is actually pretty bad, actually, like on the whole. Uh-huh. It's like it's pretty the manta ray meme, yeah. And then I'm like, okay, so it's really dumb to bring people into the world. In fact, it's probably a generally a moral wrong. Uh-huh. We should tell people not to bring people into the world, though. No. It's just like, why not? It's just like, I don't feel like we have the right to tell people what to do or not to do. It's like, okay, Jimmy, okay. We we tell people what to do when it comes to the speed and the traffic, right? Uh-huh. We tell people what to do in terms of like murder, like it's mad to kill people, and we have the right to tell people not to do that, right? Uh-huh. It's just like, okay. So if you think we have the right to tell people not to do things that are reckless, like speeding, and will potentially kill someone, like murder, then surely risking someone's good reference, 10 out of 10, then surely bringing someone into existence is a reckless act that pretty much guarantees their death, if not more. So surely we could theoretically outlaw that, or at least condemn it, on a social aspect. No. And this is basically, I don't know how to convince Jamie that we should like socially condemn bringing new people into the world, but she basically gets every aspect. She basically gets and agrees with like everything I say. She just cannot like grasp the fact, like, it sounds like a solid argument right there. Maybe she just has to experience the suffering that will internalize it. Maybe, I don't know, man. It's just like I try everything I can to like put it through them, into their minds, but it's just like it just doesn't. It like it almost clicks, but it doesn't click. Like she realizes I'm smart, but she doesn't think that I'm like right in the sense that there's like things that like we should and shouldn't do in like the world, that like things that like are like bad and things that are like good. I don't know, man. And she's like Christianish too, so like she doesn't like think like she's not like really religious or anything either. She's just a little religious, so it's kind of like, god dang it, I don't know, man. I don't know how you convince her, but someday I'll try. Maybe she just needs this. I'm just joking. I think someone like her will come around eventually. Yeah, someone she's a decent person. She'll eventually like see the reason. Like something in her life will just make it click that like, oh shit, yeah, this is genuinely really bad, and anybody that's like trying to bring someone into this isn't just like, oh yeah, they're kind of doing something a little bit dumb. It's like, no, they're genuinely like a risky motherfucker. Like they're like basically drunk driving, but like worse, because it's like drunk driving, but like with guaranteed death involved in it, if not worse. So it's like drunk driving, it's gonna cause someone to die, but you're just like, the gamble really is like, will they die very, very. Wait, what did you say? Yeah. Nothing. Nothing. What do you think I said, huh? Huh? What do you think I said? Hey, my friend Jamie, she kind of slimmed down. I mean, she subscribed to me on here, so but she'll never see this video. I mean, she's not gonna watch my live stream. So I'm allowed. I can say whatever I want because she's not gonna actually watch this live stream. But nonetheless, she's got pretty attractive since she's lost weight, and I mean, Jamie, if you're watching this, I take back everything I said. It's all for jokes and comedic value. But no, like when it comes down to it, I didn't say anything. But yeah, but I might have said, the power of love and intercourse would change someone's mind. No, I'm just kidding. What's this guy doing? Just swinging up the air. You said it, you fucker. Yeah, bro. The power of dick. Just a little. Just a. Hey, man. Have you seen what happened to Alex O'Connor? He just talked to Jordan Peterson's daughter. Saw that fat ass, that blonde, the blonde bubble butt booty, just swaying, and he was just like, "Dang, I'm gonna get all up in that." He's just like, I'm gonna get some ham tonight. And he, in that moment, he just said, "Fuck it, I'm no longer vegan," and he just went to town. We all know what happened. We all know why Alex O'Connor, Cosmic Skeptic, became no longer vegan. He just wanted that he wanted that ham. And just as that is the way, maybe the power of just kidding. I'm just yanking your chain. No. Did he meet Jordan's daughter? Yeah, he did. He was on Jordan Peterson's daughter's podcast or whatever, like a couple months before he went back to eating meat or fish or whatever. Like, honestly, it's wild. I I I, I blame the power of pussy. It's too strong. The will of man cannot handle the power of fine booty. Just joking. I'm just saying, like, I'm a pretty principled man, but if Emma Watson, no, Emma Watson was like, "Let me have the kid." I'm plain not pulling out at all. Yeah, this man, if I feel you. You might be honest, me, little. I mean, honestly, we haven't changed your mind due to biological shit over control all the time. Feel you if Emma Watson was not. Honestly, though, neither would I. I mean, I would have to. As a philosopher, I'd have to inform her that I had a vasectomy just so it wouldn't be philosophical rape. But outside of that, if she wanted me to cream pie that hoe, I would take the risk any day. I would take the risk. I'd be like, vasectomy. I'm a man of principle, so I would say usually wear a condom. But honestly, for Emma Watson's that fine booty, just kidding. Or am I? Just kidding. Emma Watson's pretty fine though. So was Britney Spears. So was fucking, I don't even know her name anymore. Uh, there's a lot of actresses that are damn fine, to be honest. That's that's a damn shame. I honestly don't know if I'm kidding. I don't have a lot of sex. Fair enough, my dude. I've only had sex once my entire life, and it was pretty dang good. But at the same time, it wasn't that worth it. I mean, frankly, technically speaking, I was philosophically raped. But outside of that, I mean, it felt pretty dang good, and other than that, so I mean, hey, it was a decent time, but the principal was a little bit after the fact. But during the moment, I was like, "Hey, this is a pretty better than I thought it would be. Better than I thought it would be. Not really, something that I care for very much, like frankly, but it's like there's some people that I definitely would want to fuck, but like it's not something I'd like lose my mind over. Because I'm frankly not that interested in sex. I just died. Those bandits just fucking triple tapped me out of nowhere. Damn, and they just despawn. Really? I wanted to actually fight them. I just kind of got triple tapped because I'm not used to the. You have a pretty active life, school, work, friends. Yeah, I do. Uh, I for I have a pretty active life full of plenty of things to do if I want. It's just I just don't care for anything. Frankly, I just yeah. I imagine having the understanding we have, even living to promote the cause, can get IDK boring, futile feeling. Basically, everything feels futile. Hanging out with friends feels like wasteful because I know that I ought to be doing activism, but the activism feels like I'm just talking to people who pretty much either agree with me or people who are just like so programmed with like whatever they're believing that they're just like, I don't know, man, like I believe that there's a bunch of babies like sitting outside the gates of Earth, being like, "Let me into this dying world. I want to, see the sand dune wars of 2049." it's like, it's like, what the fuck? I don't know how people's brains work, but they, you know, hey, it's wild how people's brains work. Uh, the fucking normies that I try to convince that I stumble across on here and stuff, and on other places, like I don't know how the brains operate, man. It's just pure. I can do whatever I want type of thing, because people won't condemn me for it and all that bullshit. What do you view your contributions as? Not very much in terms of anything. I'd hope maybe I convince one or two people out there that like I convinced maybe one or two people to go vegan or try going vegan since I've started doing activism. In terms of having kids, I've met people who are fellow antinatalists. So I guess there's that, like, helping people be like, oh yeah, I'm not alone. That's not really that much of activism though. I've met a few people who've got abortions as well. I'm not holding my sign that says abortion is an act of love. So they were like, love you what you're doing and I love you and what you're doing. You're like an amazing guy. Blah blah. So it's like I'm helping people like at least feel comfortable with their choices, and potential people who like are planning to get abortions, or on the fence about getting an abortion, may see my sign and be like, oh yeah, there are people out there who are accepting of my decision. It's not just a bunch of, I'm not going to be condemned by everybody. So, it's just so, like, maybe I'm doing something, maybe I'm not. I don't really know. But when it comes down to it, it's kind of better, in my opinion, than just sitting on my ass doing nothing but whatever I feel like doing. Like, I'd rather be doing some activism that is not going to do anything, but potentially cause some change, than play video games and just have no effect. What do you think the best tactic or plan would be to have this message be accepted by the masses? I have no clue. Online activism and like making videos is a really good way to have it just be spread out on a large basis. But I feel like you'd have to just hypothetical theorization. Now I got you. No, I think like walking around with signs and going to events that are like where a lot of people can like stop and talk to you is good. So long as it's like on public property, you can like pretty much do that whenever you want in like almost any city in America. Um, I plan to go to like the farmers market and stuff once that opens up in like a month or two. Right now I'm just doing activism outside like the Packer Stadium and stuff like that. And as I said yesterday, there was like a whole 3 buses came in front of me and like some like full of like elementary schoolers, and like they were all looking at the sign that says "Birth is the catalyst to all suffering and death." And one of them held his like hand out the window and gave me a thumbs up. So I'm like, hell yeah, like these kids get it. They can understand English a lot enough to understand what my sign means. Me like, what the fuck? Some of them are like, what the fuck? A couple of them are like, whoa. Some are like, what does that mean? And like other ones are just, the one kid gave me a thumbs up. So, you know, that's awesome. Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool. So, so like when it comes down to it, like hopefully a lot of those kids will like ask their parents like what that sign meant and stuff. Wait, you hold signs? Dude, what? That's so cool. Yeah, I can, low key in a bit here. I'll go and grab my sign and show you. It's pretty dope. Um, Actually, I can probably just pull up my phone because I have a picture of my sign on my phone. I think I do at least. Albums, camera roll. Hey, there we go. Found it. Uh, Here, let's see if. Oh, that's just pure whiteout. Now I'll just grab my sign in a bit here. But yeah, I do hold the sign. It's pretty awesome. I've got a lot of conversations with people. Like I've also have cards. I'll grab a card as well when I go out there. So I've ordered like little business cards so that like if people want to subscribe to my YouTube channel and or like go to any resources like the Epholism website or like the Stopping Having Kids podcast or sorry, not the Stopping Kids podcast, the Exploring Antinatalism podcast, or like the Stopping Kids website, or um, Christian antinatalism books such as Baby No Cry or Magnus Vinding's free book, Suffering Focused Ethics. So I have like a card with a bunch of links on there and like a little like little version of Gary's slogan on his F list page or whatever, kind of just minimized and cut it out in some areas and cropped together to fit in the size of a small card. I think we have to do what's always been done the same way the natalist narrative is pushed, the same way politicians win is by ignoring morals to get the goal. Well, our card is good. You're a real activist, holy shit. Yeah, man, I am. When it comes down to it, I may be a psychopath of sorts, but I believe that I have a duty to do what's good, and so I spend time doing it, you know? Otherwise, there's like nothing else to do with my life. I mean, like, when it comes down to it, like, some of the happiest people I know are, like, homeless fuckers and stuff. So it's like, why care about jobs? Why care about money? Why care about all this stuff? It's like, nah, I just care about the goal. I just care about reducing suffering. Because when it comes down to it, if I really wanted to focus on myself, you know, and be egoistic, I'd reduce my own suffering to the maximum by, you know, just committing the Zimbabwe, aka suicide. Zimbabwe is just an inside joke. Me and my friends, I called committing suicide. I called them committing Zimbabwe because Zimbabwe is kind of like a shithole. Everybody just like, it's basically just dying because there's no electricity or like healthcare or anything. I'm a piece of shit, by the way. I'm still a psychopath, but but yeah, I'm an activist. So I try to make change. Pray for Zimbabwe. Honestly, bro, Zimbabwe literally like is like burning wood to like heat their house and shit like that. Like most houses don't have electricity in Zimbabwe. It's pretty tragic. Pray for Zimbabwe subscribers. Question mark up there. Recent suffering I want to eliminate, and anything we have to do in pursuit of that goal, I think I can justify. No, you're 100% right. I mean, I 100% agree as well. Um, I think as a utilitarian, the whole goal is just to prevent as much suffering as possible, and if we can eliminate it, we ought to eliminate it, and you know, anything will basically be justified in meeting that end of eliminating suffering. So yeah, basically red buttoning the planet. You know, if we have to go to war with the natalists, you know, hey, it really do be. But when it comes down to it, yeah, when it comes to preventing suffering, that's the ultimate goal is to prevent all suffering if possible. Reducing is, you know, cool, but preventing is even better. So the prevention of all suffering is the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is usually the whole. But now it's I'm trying to think of a rhyme. You like to rhyme. Rhyming's fun. Yeah, I don't have any rhymes for that one. That's a shame. Look at this guy. Can't tell he's dead or. Oh, yeah, he's dead. He's just like, I can't tell if this guy's dead or napping. Just fucking takes my sword out and just slashes his guts open. I mean, if he actually was napping, that would really fucking be a shitty way to wake up. Yo. Oh, well. Wiped out that camp easily enough. Seems like maybe you won't care, or at least won't judge me harshly for this. I've never told anybody, but I'm not offended. I'm, let's see what that word means, because I do not understand language. Let's see. Definition. Well, so long as you don't ever act on that, then sure thing, man. You know, when it comes down to it, I have no problem with people, not doing things, basically. There's no harm in that. Um, Basically, that's my thoughts. I basically am indifferent because, like, it would be hypocritical of me to be like, how could you? Because I basically imagine like torturing people and far worse, if not, uh, similar level of graphic things in terms of like rape. So I'm a violent person. I get off on violence. So and I've never actually hurt anybody, but at the same time, it's just like because of that, it would be hypocritical of me to be like it would be hypocritical of me to judge you for your fantasies because of my own fantasies being violent as fucking nature, to the point where I'm glad you're fucking the skull as well. Yeah, as long as you never, I'd recommend if it felt good to get off your chest, to recommend maybe talking to like a therapist or like psychologist about it. I mean, you can get more in depth with it without like feeling like you're putting yourself in any legal harm's way or social harm's way. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, yeah, I basically have like brutal ass fantasies where it's like, I mean, imagine killing a child just to see the mother's like expression as like the breakdown, and then just raping the person and then just like beating them to death and fucking like sawing their head off, and like fucking their neck. Yeah, that's basically my mind, bro. It's like pure just violence, like and like it's like I haven't busted in this ramp of violence. That's basically my brain, bro. It's like pure just violence. It's like a Saw movie. Like it makes Saw movies look like PG. It makes like Texas Chainsaw Massacre look like about like if you could Texas Chainsaw Massacre and turn it into a porno. It's basically American Psycho if they didn't like cut from the scenes. Basically that's me. I'm basically Patrick Bateman. I'm pretty much Patrick Bateman if it's just like all contained inside of his head. I've read the books, so Patrick Bateman actually did kill people. It wasn't just inside of his head, it's like people claim. But when it comes down to if it was like all just inside Patrick Bateman's head, that's basically me. So, my brain's just fucked, man. So I can't judge people. I don't get the right to judge people. My brain is absolutely fucked. Really do. Not to mention, I don't believe in free will. Do I watch violence porn? No. Well, I watch like anime versions of it, but like I don't watch. I watch like BDSM and stuff like that, where it's like consenting people. just because of like consequentialism. I don't want to contribute to anything where it's like not. I used to go on like I forgot what the name of that website was. It was really mainstream and review like bestscore.com, I think it was called, or some shit like that. And occasionally, you would find like some hot chick getting like stabbed to death, and or like it was this hot Asian couple that got like their heads ran over by like a train when they commit suicide, and they're like naked for some reason. And I was just like, dang, they kind of fine though, if you know what I mean. And that you just bust a nut to like just like the decapitated, brain splattered Asian couple that was pretty dang fine. Low key getting half. Just kidding. But yeah, when it comes down to it, yeah, I mean, I've occasionally watched violence porn in the past, but like I don't really do that anymore, just because it's not really cool as someone who's now ethically aware of like supply and demand with stuff. Like I'm a vegan, so it's like now that I'm more like concerned with like supply and demand and all of this stuff, it's like I'm not gonna basically ever go on like best score or anything like that again, just because I don't know if there's ads in best score or not. But if there was ads in best score, there's no point of like viewing it, because it's just gonna like potentially contribute to like people like purposely uploading things on the website for clout or whatever. And that kind of stuff from me, I assume it was from my porn and having to wrap up intensity or taboo of porn. No, I got you. I mean, it could be the same for me, but I highly doubt it. I think it's mainly just, you know, I'm a sadist. I like suffering. Suffering is cash money for me. I like that. I like that. But I don't need to like get off on suffering. I can get off on non-suffering. It's kind of the perks of being a narcissist is like, as I said in the one video, I can, and a psychopath, it's like I can get off on different fantasies, like admiration type of ones, where it's like mutual affection slash I'm giving affection. Or when do you realize you like suffering? Probably when I was like uh, seventh, eighth grade or something like that. I was like reading a lot of books and like Ranged Apprentice and stuff, and I was just like, I really wish I could just like be like a fucking like like an archer for a living, like a hitman, just like fucking like I could do that. Like I don't give a shit. Like just to air through people's heads, just being cold, not caring about like stuff like that. Like just I don't like who cares about family and all that stuff. So I think I started becoming like sadistic and realizing I was sadistic. I mean, like when I was like in seventh grade, though I had like violent thoughts and stuff like that since like fourth grade, I think, because I used to like imagine and make little like fucked up versions of nursery rhymes. Like as I said, I like rhyming. Um, I like to like twist words of like songs like Barney and stuff to like make it like chopping off Barney's head and stuff like that, and like random like twisting yours around just be like grim, and basically like having a vivid imagination of like brutally like a childish brutal version of like the nursery rhyme that's like dark. Some of my teachers were a little bit disturbed, honestly. They told me not to talk like that. Brace your full nature and be the human you were born to be. Yo, man, hey, maybe in a different multiverse that is the case, but in this one I realized, because I met Shmira, I realized that the ethical truth is pain is bad, and everybody's pain is just as valid as my own pain. And because of that, there is a universal subjective or objective, as depending on how you want terminology, I guess. Value that makes the pain is something that you ought not to inflict on others unnecessarily. Which by necessarily I mean to like prevent a larger quantity or intensity of pain, all things being equal, onto the other person. So when it comes down to it, in a different reality, I would not imagine. I mean, sorry, I wouldn't doubt that I'm like a serial killer, because when I was in high school, I pretty much thought I'd be a serial killer at this point, but I'm not. So hell, if high school me would be surprised, you'd be like, "Dang, bro, you haven't even got a single kill under your belt," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I know, right, bro? It's wild." You'd be like, "Why the fuck haven't you got that? You just being lazy or something?" You're like, "No, I actually think it's wrong to kill people now without good reason." And you're like, "Really? What the fuck is wrong? Are you like some type of pussy or some shit? Like you get hit in the head?" And they're like, "No, man, I took drugs." And you'd be like, "I knew it. Pussies only pussies take drugs, huh? What happened to you?" Me back in the day wouldn't have taken drugs either. So that is an unfortunate freedom that accepting nihilism grants. Well, frankly, here's the thing, brother. No, you can still be a serial killer and be a negative utilitarian at the same time, because death isn't bad for the one who dies. It's just, unfortunately, nihilism would free me up from the burden, but I'm not going to become a nihilist anytime soon. I don't believe in nihilism. But when it comes down to it, being a serial killer and negative utilitarian are compatible. Not gonna lie. I mean, basically, death isn't bad for the one who dies. So long as you were to kill people and then never have ethylism connected to you, / never get caught, you would technically be doing good, because you'd be eliminating suffering. That being said, I don't advocate for people being serial killers. Don't do that. And if you do that, I never said to do that. This is all jokes. This is all comedic value. This is not actual philosophy. This is me just talking on my ass right now. Yup, this is not serious. This is satire. This is all ironic. This is all ironic, guy. I swear. Haha, I'm an actor. Straight up, my dude. That's what it's like when you're a negative utilitarian and you're trying to be honest online. It's just like, how can I be honest without getting myself institutionalized? All it takes is one person to just take me in a weird direction and be like, he actually is gonna do it. And I'm like, no, man, I'm not. I'm just fucking cracking dark jokes. I'm not actually gonna become like Charles Manson and like convince people to form a death cult. But if you all do want to form a death cult, I would be a great leader. I'm just joking. Personally, I say go just like in Far Cry. We buy up farmland. You know how to do it. Adam Sales did it. See, in Far Cry, what they did is they bought up all the farmland and they got power, because land equals power. And once you have the control of the food supply, then you have control over the politicians. And once you have the control over the politicians, you seem to get them all fanatical, really control them. Get a few fanatics in there. Once you get them, that's when the fun begins. You just need to get nuclear armed codes or something and declare war. Declare war. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just joking. Please, FBI man, I'm just joking. Please, I swear to God. I swear to God, I'm just fucking with you. Soft apple core is just like Christ. Land, nuclear power, okay, food supply, was politicians. Oh, land equals power, okay, food supply equals politicians. Yo, man, if we got the politicians, then we basically got a bunch of people in our pockets, and then we're gonna have the fanatics. And once we got, we just need to convert them into fanatics. If we convert politicians into fanatics, boom, literally, boom. We can just get the nuclear arms codes. Like that's the way. That's the way. Effilism. Just kidding. I'm pretty sure Far Cry 5 was literally just about effilism. Like John Seed was just a Christian effilist. I'm just joking, but he might remember. Who knows? He's probably just a post-sadist, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he was a post-sadist. Um, Probably like the president, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, maybe like the guy in charge of like China, and like the person who is now dead, like the queen, probably the king now of like the UK. And you know, if we got Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the room with the like whoever's in charge of China, plus like Biden in his state of dementia, and I'm pretty sure we could like do anything. We could just conquer the world, get all of them together, and just combine with like fuse them together like some mech. Imagine that, man. Taking Biden, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the president of China. Fuck it, let's like resurrect like El Capone, and let's form them into a mech, and that would be the ultimate man to take over the world. Yep. This is what my high thoughts are like, bro. This is what my brain's like. Don't do drugs. Just kidding. Yeah, like a Power Rangers type fusion, exactly. They just like fusion together and like like their flesh just melds and like what the fuck? Oh my god. I really wish like an artist would draw that. I imagine like it'd be like Dwayne's arms and like Biden's dementia head on like the president's big old Winnie the Pooh body. You've got to follow the Mini brand. I don't know who the Many are, my dude. Unless like the Many are like those like Bohemian Grove motherfuckers. Oh, you gotta follow the one brand. You know, you're probably right, but I'm not really much about money. Money's kind of like secondary slash third to me. So like being productive is number one. Happiness is number two. Money and love are kind of like tied. You know, that sounds like some solipsist stuff, bro, but I don't know if I can change the world, bro. I can try, but I'm gonna try to influence people as much as I can, but I don't really know if I understand the world much more than the average person do. other than the fact that it's hell. Hidden money kind of just buys things, but I don't really care for money. This money requires working, and working requires my time, and my time wants to be spent unconscious for the most part. We're tuned out from the pain. Wave my arm in front of the thing to block out that way it's like not gonna copyright strike me for playing screens like I'm not supposed to. Wow, 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 wow. Can't copyright strike me, Fortnite. Can't do it to me. I have a no, not Sims. I mean, your form of activism is spreading knowledge, but the knowledge we need is what the hell is going on in our world. Most people don't even understand evolution. I barely do sometimes. No, that's understandable. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know how the best to do that. I mean, so many people just drive by, and it's like what I can do if like one sign doesn't really say a lot. Like the birth is the catalyst of all suffering and death. That technically says like a good chunk of the message, like in a way. Like if you really think about it, suffering really sucks. Death pretty much sucks if you're a normie and don't understand promortalism. At least they'll provide some fear for you. And saying connecting them down like, hey, none of that bad, nothing bad happens if you're not born. I mean, that's kind of our argument. The second part of the argument is just to say that like good stuff isn't worth putting people through because of the cost of the bad. But I can't fit that all on one sign, so it's just kind of like hoping that people will kind of connect that dot that like, oh shit, what in my life is worth giving cancer to someone? Like, hopefully it just connects in their brain. I mean, I've had some conversations with people who are like total fucking sadists. So I mean, honestly, I'm not sure, man. How does the government work? Who decides what narratives gets pushed, and how do we decide it instead? How does the government work? Who decides what narratives got pushed, and how do we decide it instead? I guess we'd have to like vote for people and stuff like that, and you know, in terms of government stuff, we have to like vote for certain people to get them in charge. But then like you would have to like first vote for like candidates like the Green Party, I guess, to like have them change the structure of the politics to begin with. Because the Green Party wants it to be more like the UK, where there's like a ton of different branches of people running, where it's like the Socialist Party, the Communist Party, the Liberal Party, the Conservative Party, the Workers Party. Now, basically in Europe, they have like a bunch of different things you can vote for. But in the United States, it's basically just like Democrat, Republican, and like Libertarian now will be on the ballot. But that's it. Well, if we can get someone like Libertarians or the Green Party, someone who wants more people on the ballot, then maybe we can get some change. Maybe. Yeah, you're kind of not wrong. Voting's pretty shitty. It's pretty corrupt. Not uber corrupt, but it's pretty corrupt. So I won't deny that. But it's basically the only way you can kind of get things done about resorting to violence, and even then, the whole country is kind of. I mean, we have such strong illusionary things to provide us comforts that's going to be really difficult to. It's going to be really difficult to convince folks to decide and give up their comforts to try to like do a revolution. You know what I mean? You pretty much just have to go through voting and try to get people to be convinced that they ought to all unite under one person, and you know, if they want to stay in power, they ought to follow what the voters say. You know, I guess. Yeah, France is doing it right now, but France is wild and they're attacking BlackRock. BlackRock has some of the most shareholder power in the universe. Look at any company, and they've got the largest, if not the third largest stock in it. They follow the money. No, I believe it, my dude. Frankly, I'm glad that they're attacking the fucking rich fuckers. Damn, almost feel bad. These guys are just peacefully big chilling by each other. And then I blew them up. So you like movies then? Yeah, I love movies. I have a whole antinatalist film collection actually. Have you seen Sindosh, New York? No, I have not. What's about? If you can keep it spoiler free-ish, if it's worth watching. Is it antinatalist or no? It's made by Charlie Kaufman. He's brilliant. It's about. Oh, someone's by me. Ah, I must go. It's been the Charlie Kaufman. He's brilliant. It's about life, and I classify it as anti-specimen real. It's definitely not blue pilled. It's a movie I experienced so much anxiety watching it. It's the only movie I had to take a break from. Well, I was dealing with a lot at the time. I guess I haven't always dealing with a lot, but yeah, it's good. I beg you to watch it. I'd even watch it with you. Hmm. Okay. I will make sure to put it on my list of things to watch and or buy. If it's not on any streaming services, I'll buy the disc. Because I have a, even if it's an international one, but it says New York in it, so I highly doubt it's an international film. But if it's an international film, I have a international film player that I just recently bought. Scar your friends with it. Yo, man, I have some fucked films. I can go grab them, I guess. I can show you my film collection. Here, I'll be right back. Actually, now I'll just bring my fucking computer with. Why not? It's easier to do that. So we're gonna go through. Am I lagging bad or nah? I probably am. Nah, it's probably just adapting to the area of the house I'm in. Okay, so we're gonna go with the films that are not antinatalist, and then we're gonna go with the films that are antinatalist. So we got Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Hell yeah, that one's a pretty good one. We got Uncle Drew. I've never watched this, and I never will. But my friend bought it for one of my birthdays, and he insists that I watch Uncle Drew. And I'm like, why in the fuck did you do this to me? Your Name, a brilliant anime. My favorite movie is Scott Pilgrim. Haha, dude, hell yeah. I completely understand this chick right here, waifu. So understand. I have not seen this, but I own a bunch of hentai that I won in a fucking random draw once when I was at an anime convention. So we got some quality. We got some quality art. This one has Invasion of the Ballbusters and Green Eyes. Yuck. They're making a Scott Pilgrim anime with all the same voice actors. Hey man, I'm a psychopath. It is what it is. We got Funny Games. Funny Games is about a home invasion. That one's not antinatalist either, but it's brutal as fuck. Let's find the other home invasion movie that is antinatalist, kind of. The Eyes of Your Mother. This is a brutal as fuck horror movie. Yeah, let's read the synopsis. In their secluded farmhouse, a mother, formerly a surgeon, teaches her daughter, Francisca, to understand anatomy and be unfazed by death. But after a shocking event shatters their idealistic life, the young girl must cope with the nightmarish repercussions that echo into adulthood. As she matures, it becomes clear that this beautiful but dangerous young woman has some peculiar desires. Oh, I have two home invasion films. This Funny Games, which is about like this demigod basically and his like friend or whatever that basically decided to go on like home invasions and like the fucking like suburbs, and it's supposed to be about how like people glorify violence essentially in American and different like film societies and stuff like that, and yeah, it's basically just like about like this like demigod dude doing like a home invasion and stuff, and it goes wrong at some point, and basically it's really interesting, but at the same time it's mainly just it's about some dude having playing a funny game. He went a little too funny. This one also has a home invasion, but it basically happens at the very beginning of the film. Like, basically, the main character's mom gets killed in a home invasion, and they capture the home invader and turn him into a sex slave. Hell yeah, it's a fucking wild ass film. Yup, you heard me right. they turn the fucking home invader into a sex slave. A little girl just fucking ties him up and turns him into a sex slave. They do what? Yeah, no joke. That basically there's a home invasion at the very beginning of the film. Uh, the guy kills the mom and like rapes her or whatever. Then the dad comes in and is like, "Oh my god, my wife." Basically beats the shit out of the dude, like almost kills him. But then because the daughter's been trained as a surgeon, she like nurses him back to health and like locks him in like chains in like their barn. And because they don't want to like have him get away with it or like face like petty like versions of like justice from the law, they basically just torture him for years inside the barn. Stitching him back up and torturing him, like plucking his eyes and like out and like sewing like them shut and stuff like that. So basically, they're just torturing this dude, and the main character who is like a girl in the very beginning, like only like 12 or whatever, and is living like a sexual relationship with this dude who like they get capturing and putting in the barn or whatever, and then inevitably she ends up like killing him because he tries to escape, and instead she decides to like build her own family, so she like finds some random mother and basically like steals her and her child away, and basically ties this mother up in the barn instead. And yeah, the full film's fucking wild as shit, bro. I highly recommend you watch it. It is good and it is really weird. Melancholia. Basically, what the yo, it's an antinatalist film because yo, I don't know who the fuck was what they were on when they wrote this film, but it's really good. Melancholia is about like a planet gonna crash into Earth, and like a wedding is being like broken up, and it's just about a bunch of sad folks being sad, and a depressed lady being like, "Fuck yeah, I can't wait for the planet to crush us all. Fuck yeah." And everybody else being like, "Why are you really killing the mood?" And I'm just like, I like that lady. She's based. Have you seen a Serbian film? Hmm. I don't think so. The closest I've seen to like Serbian films is like Capernaum. And I mean, Capernaum's not a Serbian film, I don't think. Capernaum. Location. Hmm. Literally called a Serbian film, I think. Oh, I don't think I've seen a film called the Serbian film. No. But yeah, another one of my antinatalist films is Capernaum. Great film, by the way. Big Sad. Lawrence of Arabia. Kind of, I consider this an antinatalist film, but I bought it before I was an antinatalist. I'm just a huge fan of Lawrence of Arabia, but when it comes down to it, it really is a brutal film. When it comes down to it, so I consider it an anti. I consider it more of an F-list film than an antinatalist film, I guess. Capernaum. Then we got Vivarium. Vivarium is great. An antinatalist film, purely. It's great. Love the aesthetic, and the actress is fine as fuck. We got 12 Monkeys, basically an F-list film, a little bit. I think it was recommended by a schizophrenic, and I wouldn't be surprised. Prometheus, I actually got this before I was an F-list, but it actually is like a perfect F-list film. So, I loved Vivarium. Fuck yeah. See, I got Prometheus, and Prometheus is totally an antinatalist slash F-list film, like David's based as fuck. But I had no clue that it was gonna be like F-list based. When I bought it, I just kind of bought it because it was on sale, and it turns out to be like an F-list film. So, heyo. I gotta rewatch Prometheus. Yeah, man, David's based. David's one based motherfucker. It's all about like birth and like people killing their creators, and the creators orphan and they're like, yes, it's an interesting one. A Quiet Earth. This is just a good F-list film. The whole everybody on Earth gets just like obliterated, and it's just like 4 people or 3 people basically alive, and like see like how that operates and like their dynamics and stuff, and you know Servians. I will put that on my list. Serverance. Oh, here's another movie that's not antinatalist. Spirited Away. I didn't notice that it was in my pile. But yeah, Spirited Away is another film that I own. It's not antinatalist at all. Oh, and here's another one that's not antinatalist at all that I own. American Psycho. And it's the steelbook, so when you slide it up, he has blood on his face. When you slide it down, he doesn't. It's pretty cool. Ooh. Got Into the Void, another F-list film slash antinatalist film, but mainly an F-list film. We got the steelbook of Eraserhead. I'm pretty sure this is a steelbook, right? Feels like a steelbook. It's heavy as shit. Yeah, it is. Oh, no, it's not, actually. We got Into the Void on my list. Yeah, it's awesome. We got Eraserhead. It comes with this little booklet filled with different like set stuff. So it really comes with its own like little miniature book of like the whole filming process and jazz. It's about like fatherhood and like raising like a deformed baby basically as a single father. It's an interesting and weird film. I watched it with my dad. Silent Night is about like Russia like attacking us with like gas bombs and like this family deciding to like commit suicide with like government distributed pills. It's pretty interesting. Real holiday film. Soylent Green. Soylent Green takes place in 2022, so I made sure to watch it in 2022. It's about like the end of the world and stuff, like global warming and the government basically pretending things are made of soy, but it's like actually made of like human flesh and stuff like that. And like we're just like feeding the dead to our like people and stuff. And honestly, it's like dystopian, but like not really dystopian. Like it is, but it isn't. Like it's dystopian, but it's basically just our reality. It's basically how the world's gonna be. Under the Skin, an alien entity inhabits the earthly form of a seductive young woman who combs the Scottish highways in search for human prey. It is her here to plunder. It lures its isolated, forsaken male victims to another otherworldly dimension where they are stripped and consumed, but life is all. Complexity starts to change. The alien begins to see itself as human, with tragic and terrifying consequences. Under the Skin is about seeing ourselves through alien eyes. So this is a pretty good, just F-list film in general. I mean, it's simple. It's nothing too special, but Scarlett Johansson's hot as fuck. So I mean, like hey, and Scarlett Johansson, and it has F-list themes. Like Big Bang Boom. It's a film worthy of me. Uh, Hidden Life is about standing up for what you believe in, even under persecution. It's a really good film about standing up against the Nazis. So, hell yeah, this is a good antinatalist, ethicist, just activist film in general. Um, and I haven't seen this one yet, but Turin Horse. It's on my list of things to watch. Turin Horse. Basically about the sad horse boy Friedrich Nietzsche's. Jesus Christ, street film. No. Hey, I'm bisexual, but I just technically prefer women. So it's just how it be. Aniara has a lot of lesbian stuff in it. So again, quite nice. But when it comes down to it, it's also an ethicist film about like taking Earth and shrinking it down into like the biosphere, like a 10,000 passengers crew, a space vessel. Like it's like thrown out of its trajectory, and a bunch of drama unfolds. This one's pretty great. And I do not know where my Avengers film set is, but I also own the 4 Avengers movies: Avengers 1, Age of Ultron, and then Endgame, and Infinity War. And I consider Age of Ultron an ethicist film because, Ultron's basically just a benevolent world destroyer, and, so he's based as fuck. And then there's Thanos in Endgame, who's like, I'm gonna destroy it all and rebuild it in my own image. And that guy's kind of almost based as fuck. He's still insane because he wants to like rebuild it, but like, he's almost based because he's like, this is a flawed world. We're gonna make it better. And I'm like, good. At least he wants to make it better. So I have a whole entire yeah, Ultron's based. So yeah, moral of the story is Ultron is based as fuck, and he is king. I hope he comes back in future. Now that we're in my room, we should like go over my book collection of antinatalist literature. Just kidding. So I have procreation is murder. I have the temptation to exist. I have suicide. It's such a pleasant cover title. What about The Truman Show? Yo, is The Truman Show an antinatalist film? I haven't watched The Truman Show yet, but low-key, if it is, I might have to like low-key add that to my list of things to watch. You actually buy and read books? Wow, you're an actual person. Yeah, I mean, a lot of those books I haven't read, but I've read Suffering Focused Ethics by Magnus Vinding. I've listened to the audiobook of The Conspiracy Against the Human Race. It's an antinatalist film, and you can make an antinatalist film. Make any film antinatalist film if you want to. That's fair, yeah. If it has antinatalist themes or themes about the bullshittery of life, I consider it antinatalist, basically. Like Lawrence Arabia, I consider antinatalist, even though it doesn't have anything to do about procreation. It's just a war film, and like the main character gets like raped and like traumatized and like becomes a sadist at some point, and then it gets like PTSD from the fact he becomes a sadist and feels like horrible as a human being. So honestly, Lawrence Arabia is just a perfect humanizing film. You are single-handedly keeping the book industry alive. Yeah, I have Every Cradle's a Grave and David Benhar's book right there. Um, have The Meaning of Life by David Benatar. Have a bunch more. If I can get this book back on the shelf. Thank you. I have The ABCs of Antinatalism. Yeah, here's my bookshelf right there. It's a whole fucking spiel of stuff. Look at my old stofos. Yo, The Last of Us Part 2 is amazing, my dude. People that say The Last of Us Part 2 is bad, they just don't understand the humanism that is really deeply showing off in The Last of Us Part 2 and the awesome character dynamics. But yes, I'm a big fan of The Last of Us. So yeah, I'm a big fan of The Last of Us. You could say I'm a fan. Yeah. But yeah, you could say I'm a huge fan of The Last of Us. I have like literally Ellie's tattoo on my arm, so I'm a bit of a fan. Uh, I have a few more antinatalist books, but they're being lent out to my friend Jamie and to my grandma. My grandma has a couple of my antinatalist books right now, like The Tango of Ethics. Do they like the show? You're a super fan. Wow. Yeah. I do like this show. I think the show is almost as better than the game in some aspects. So, uh, this is a great book, by the way. Tears and Saints. I highly recommend Tears and Saints. Oh, my alarm to have me take antipsychotics. Weizsäckers Pessimism in German Philosophy. I cannot wait to read this book. Your grandma reads antinatalist books. Yeah, I mean, I convince her to read them because she likes to read. She doesn't really, she's read parts of Sir Perry's Ever Cradle Is a Grave, mainly just the beginning part where it's talking about like euthanasia. Tears and Saints, yeah, man, Tears and Saints is amazing. I have History of Antinatalism. This book's really cheap, so I'm almost thinking of potentially buying a bunch more copies. I have to read it though first and see if it's worth propagating. But I'm almost thinking about buying a bunch of these and then handing them out to like homeless people, and then creating an army of the homeless antinatalists, being like, "Brothers, spread this gospel. Remember your suffering. Do not pass it on." And then like pass on this book, not your genes. And then like just like creating an army of the homeless rising up like some divergent shit. but but who knows? That's my plan. Is to spread. I'm trying to find the perfect antinatalist book that's like cheap, because like this is like straight up $5.78. $5.78 for all of this. So I want to read this eventually and see if it's worth spreading, because it's one of the few antinatalist books I haven't got to, but it just covers so much. It's like a bunch of history stuff, so it's like it's so broad. But my grandma couldn't quite grasp this, so I'm not sure if it's worth propagating. I'm not quite sure if it's worth propagating, but now she's reading The Tango of Ethics, which is apparently supposed to be pretty easy to read. Unfortunately, it's whole dollars, but if I can find like some type of like, if I can find out who distributes the book, I can maybe find out a way to get it cheaper. So like once I find a good book, that's all I need to find is a good book. And that can do it. Yeah. Let's read some Tears and Saints by E.M. Sinon. Strange that there can be several saints living at the same time. I try to imagine a meeting of saints, but neither my imagination nor my enthusiasm can help me much. The 52-year-old Saint Teresa, famous and much admired, meeting a 25-year-old Saint John of the Cross, anonymous yet full of passion, Medea yet composed, Spanish mysticism, a divine moment in the history of humanity. Saints' dialogues? Question mark. A Shakespeare within, with the heart of a virgin, could write them, or Dux Fees exiled in heavenly Siberia. I shall prowl after saints all my life. Perhaps no one built more roads to God out of music and dance than Delion and Drumi, a saint long since canonized by his admirers. His basically this guy just has like, bro, can let me send you $20. Uh, I would appreciate it. I appreciate it. I don't understand books right now. No, that's fair. Let's find an easier line to understand. Oh, music makes me bold in front of God. This is what distances me from the Oriental mystics. He wants to dance in front of God. That is my boy Saran. Only tears will be weighed on the last judgment. Yes. He just has like the most like poetic lines. My lord, without you I'm mad, and with you I shall go mad. Without the voluptuous of suffering, saintliness would not interest us any more than medieval political intrigue in some little provincial town. Suffering is man's only bibliography. It's voluptuous, the saints. To be a saint, never miss a single opportunity among the infinite varieties of agony. Rose of Lima, born in South America, apparently to redeem Pizarro's crimes, is a model for all those with a vocation for suffering. Young and beautiful, she could not think of an excuse to resist her mother's wish to bring her out in society, but she finally found a compromise. Under the crown of flowers on her head she pinned a needle that pricked her forehead incessantly. Thus she satisfied her desire to be alone in society. One conquers the temptation of the world through pain. Pascal's belt belongs to the transition of suffering. For whom did Rose of Lima put a needle in her crown? The heavenly lover made a new victim. Jesus was Don Juelt of agony. Saintliness is the negation of life through heavenly hysteria. How does one negate life? Through the uninterrupted lucidity. Hence the saints, almost total suppression of sleep. Rose of Lima never slept more than 2 hours a night, and when she felt that sleep was overpowering her, she would hang herself on a cross in her room, or force herself to stand by trying her hair on a nail. Saintliness is a special kind of madness. While the madness of mortals exhausts itself in useless and fantastic action, holy madness is a conscious effort towards winning everything. Competing with Jesus, the saints' excesses repeat Golgotha, adding to it the refinements of torture, gleaming with subsequent Christian centuries. Christ's crown of thorns, imitated by the saints, caused more suffering than the world, than I don't know how many incurable diseases. Jesus was, after all, the saints' incurable disease. Rose of Lima also used to wear under her veil a crown of nails that wounded her every moment. They say that once her father touched her head accidentally, and streams of blood flowed from her wounds. Often she was seen bearing a huge cross, miming with amazing intensity the Golgotha of her heavenly lover. Jesus is responsible for so much suffering. His consciousness must weigh on him very heavily, since he no longer gives any signs of life. To tell the truth, he does not stand comparison with his followers. In them his heavenly passion have become a virus. Instead of roses, they give us thorns. I don't know any bigger sinner than that of Jesus. And that is your taste of Saran, calling Jesus the biggest sinner, the tempter of all suffering of the saints. I definitely have ADHD because I just realized I was in my head having a fantasy about dancing this whole time. No, that's completely fair. Dancing with the saints. I also have ADHD, but when I'm good at reading Saran, so well, I don't really know if I don't have ADHD, but I do have attention deficit issues. Saran is a madman. Love him. Yeah, man, Saran is great. Saran and like Legati and whoever wrote I'm gonna pull this bad boy up. I'm sure this is in the public. This might be in the public domain. Let's find out. Um, your videos, downloads. Nope, nope. Have you ever? Wait a minute. My account. No, my account's fine. And Mainlander. Serrano's Mainland, love him. Schopenhauer and the Mainlander. Yeah, Mainlander's great. This book right here has a chapter on Philippe Mainlander, and I eventually want to get to it because it's supposedly one of the better works on covering Mainlander, besides Mainlander's philosophy of redemption, which unfortunately is not translated yet, but will be in a couple of months. Thankfully. Let's find that. Playlist. Audiobooks. Peter Wessel Zafar, The Last Messiah. I'm gonna look up is The Last Messiah in the public domain. Is The Last Messiah public domain? What's on top? The Last Messiah. They go to sleep sometimes. Lol. Me too, my dude. Me too. The Last Messiah is great. It's like one of the most base things I've ever listened to. Let's see what we should watch in the last couple minutes here before I have to go to sleep. If I had to recommend you some movies, it would be Aniara. Um, Aniara for sure. Hmm. Lawrence of Arabia. You're welcome in advance for that film. Um, and Soylent Green. Those are the three I'll recommend. I think that is how you spell those right. And even if it's not, it would be enough that if you looked up on the internet, it would definitely pull them up. The Truman Show and Sin Sur Douche, New York, and Requiem of a Dream. I will take a picture of that with my phone, and I will make sure to watch those. I'll find out either where they are streaming, and if they don't have them streaming, I will buy them and add them to my film collection and watch them that way. And I might ask my movie buff friends Sam and Max and see if they have any of them. That way, I don't have to buy them; I can just watch them at their house. But because I have a feeling Sam might have Requiem of a Dream, or Max maybe too. Sweet, hell yeah! Here, let's watch playlist that leads to my future cult. The best title. Uh, let's watch some sad boy videos, before we go to bed.
It's a weird question.
Oh, this is such a weird question.
Is this a trick question?
Damn, where the hell did you come up with this question?
Can I ask you a question about it?
Yeah, sure.
Is that assuming that it's missing within me?
However you want to interpret it,
Yes,
Oh,
let's
it's
be
up to
sad
you.
boy.
I miss most about myself, even though I do it every day, is smiling and laughing. I always loved how it feels. I realized it when I went through a bad breakup. And towards the end of the relationship, I realized I wasn't smiling a lot. And when I went through the breakup, certain things started to uplift me as I got more into myself and learned to love myself again. And I started to realize at some point my cheeks hurt. Like I'm smiling a lot, and I used to feel so shy about it at the beginning because I was like, oh, am I the only one smiling? Am I the only one feeling like this? And I realized it didn't matter if I was or wasn't, because even if I was, if someone else could feel it, they'll feel like that too. So it just felt good to feel and go through. But I went through a period of not feeling it for a long time before I realized that. So I guess I had to be without it to appreciate it.
I miss being so naive and innocent. I miss thinking like a child. I have so much knowledge now about the world that I just miss being like innocent and stupid, not knowing nothing about the world. Because it's a really harsh world that we live in today.
I miss the way I was before I knew that depression overtook me, and before I started like purposefully hurting myself because I thought that things were normal and I felt happier and more innocent. I don't know, I think it was slightly over time, but I did have like a few triggers, like getting bullied and just like I also have struggle with an eating disorder,
Same, my
and
homie.
that just like
Same.
really degraded my brain and the way that I thought of things. And I feel like one day I just gave up on life completely.
Probably, well, when I was little, when I wouldn't care what others would think, like about me. But like as we get older, we realize what the the standards that society puts for one. Well, I've always been like a bigger kid, and when I was little, I wouldn't care when people would like call me, big, fat, whatever, because I would just like let it slide. But when we get older, we kind of realize like the meaning behind that. Yeah.
So I'm slowly starting to get this part of myself back, but I miss being happy. I was very unhappy for a long time, dealing with a lot of disrespect in the relationship that I was in, and I finally left that. And I'm learning to be myself again, which is a whole new self because I was with this person for 11 years. Um, so it's been a learning process, and I'm honestly enjoying getting to know myself because I'm learning I'm really awesome. And I don't know, I'm learning to be happy again, and that's something that's really really important because I don't know, I wasn't happy for a long time, so I'm really happy that I'm getting that back.
I miss knowing myself. So I was also in a 10-year relationship, um, and you do become one. And so I was interested in things and watching things and reading things and eating things that I realized like weren't even my choices. Uh, so in the last few months, I'm learning, what do I actually like? Who am I? What do I enjoy? Figured out that I like eating an early dinner. That's something I haven't done in 10 years. I really like a 5 o'clock dinner, but I was used to a 10 o'clock, so that's nice. I like traveling with my friends only. Yeah, so I miss myself because I feel like I gave up on myself.
Was it like an aha moment? Kind of
Yeah,
have you?
actually, when I discovered that I like early dinners. And I know that sounds so silly and like such a weird thing to say. Um, but once I started living without him,
Yo, man, I highly
uh,
recommend you
I started
subscribe
paying
to
attention
this
to
channel.
myself.
This channel makes me feel
Actually paying
emotional
attention to
too.
me. What do I
It's
want?
only gonna get
And
sadder.
oh, I'm hungry. It's 5 p.m. It's still daylight. I'm hungry. I made myself dinner. I sat down and I ate it, and I was so satisfied. And then it hit me.
Yeah, that's why I
I
started
haven't done
smoking weed,
this
bro. Because
in
weed makes me feel
years.
emotions.
And I cried. I know that sounds so silly, but I cried at the fact that I got to eat dinner at 5 p.m. when I was hungry. And I wasn't concerned about anybody else. I was hungry.
Uh, I miss when I was more compassionate. When I was younger, I was very, very caring, very trusting person. And I got near some people who wasn't really, really for me. They would only be cool when it was convenient for them. And I thought making myself more reserved would solve that problem, but I still feel the same. Ever since I had my daughter, I've softened up and I've like learned to let people more in than I would like to, but it's a process.
I think I miss the confidence I had when I was younger.
I miss the confidence that I used to have.
I miss my confidence.
What made you lose that?
Trauma. The world. I guess I lost my ability to be confident because of how other people are in the world, their judgments, um, the harm that they cause.
So I have clinical depression and I have anxiety and I have cyclothymia, which is a bipolar disorder. And I miss feeling okay. I was talking about it with a friend, and sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to do anything. Like I don't want to get out of bed. I miss feeling like myself because I used to be this like very bubbly person, and right now I feel like I'm just like faking it till I make it, which, it's probably not the best coping mechanism. But I do go to therapy and I go with my psychiatrist every month, and so I miss feeling okay and feeling comfortable with being vulnerable.
I would say my depression. Whenever, at a young age, trauma and all that good stuff happens. And then when you get around to finally fixing it, you don't really realize who you are. So it's fun learning about yourself, but I gotta say I do miss it. Just my favorite spice blend that I made was one that I made while in a bad mental breakdown, and I kind of miss that because that means I won't be able to make that type of spice blend again. That's a weird answer, but yeah.
So you miss having depression.
Being motivated to do things that other people want me to do. I used to kind of thrive on the thought of people being proud of me for doing things like school. Um, but it's not really that I don't care anymore. It's just I feel so burnt out that doesn't really, that's not something that strikes me as important anymore. Yeah, that's it.
I feel like the person that misses having depression is just missing having depression because when they had like chemical induced depression, they had like an excuse for why they felt like there was no purpose to life. But now that they no longer have chemically induced depression, they just kind of are like lost in the sauce of like how meaningless and chaotic life is. So before they like, at least had like a reason for like being depressed, now it's just like this numbness that is there because there's nothing chemically there to like drag them down. It's just like this meaningless void. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason why that lady misses her depression.
I think I miss the excitement of getting up in the mornings for game days. I've been a
Yeah,
basketball
that guy
player
was
my
really
entire
attractive.
life,
No homo.
and
Ooh.
that's always kind of been my identity. And it wasn't until probably high school that I fell out of love with the game. Something that I really miss is just being excited to play a game that I love without any pressure, without any expectations. Being from where I'm from, there's not a lot of kids that
I am bi, but I like saying no homo because I find it funny.
get out of my situation from where I grew up. And so I felt like I always had a responsibility to play basketball, earn a scholarship, go to school, and make something of myself.
I think I miss being able to fight things head on. I think I got a little bit too soft. I used to be real strong in the way I advocated for myself, and now I'm a little bit too forgiving,
What made you lose that?
wanting certain people in my life.
I think that it is sort of restoring my faith. I think I lost sight of it. I don't know if I'm losing it. Um,
This guy's crazy.
yeah, I mean, I don't know how to describe it, I guess. And
Just
like
kidding.
the component of just not feeling guilty. I think that's to me, yeah, it's like I get it, but I think I can reach the same levels of goodness by not being
Yeah, I'm an anti-theist.
held
It's
accountable
like,
to that extent.
I think
You know what I mean? Like, I know this is getting really
my
technical,
boo, get out of here.
but religion, I guess, or the way I see that. But yeah, I think overall is just continue to explore it. Like thinking about getting back to it, it's just like continue to explore it until you get some sort of concise answer.
How about you explore philosophy, bro?
Having all my brains doing things. I can't do stuff anymore now. I'm 66 years old. I can't do anything. So that bothers me. But when I was young, I was a spitfire. I skydived, I rock climbed, I rappelled, I rode the rapids, I've been in the ocean, I flew a plane, I've been in the army. I can't do them anymore. I can't do none of those things. My memory's not good right now anymore. See, it's a lot of things. I'm a mess, but I'm fighting it all. So I'm not too happy to go, to die anytime soon. But when it comes, I'm ready.
It's okay, my dude.
Yeah.
This old dude.
Thank you for answering my question.
You're welcome, honey.
I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Hey everyone, for those of you who are new, my name is Thoraya and I'm the girl behind the camera. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I have a new episode up. And follow me on Instagram, I'll be posting more on there. As always, thank you guys for everything. I love you all and I'll see you next time.
We'll watch another Thrive video. They always have a lot of feeling attached to it. They're very human. Here we go. We're gonna drive straight in the Fields train.
I don't think my religion
This
lets me be
looks
friends
like
with people
mine.
like you.
Yeah, it's
Probably when I was told that my mom had passed away.
When I was a kid, my mom said I should have aborted you.
No, I have Gray Ty in here. He's just towards the bottom. See, there he is. Got that guy. He's just down towards. I just discovered him a little bit later. So I have a lot of his videos down in here.
You. It's kind of touchy now because of the whole abortion thing that's going on. But my mom, when I was a kid, my mom said I should have aborted you. I guess it's hurtful now because obviously I'm alive and it just makes me feel like I shouldn't have been alive. But yeah, that's the most painful thing that's been said to me.
It was in the middle of the night. I got woken up by a police officer that came to my house, knocked on the door. They were very nice about it, but it was a bit of a shock. And, you never really get over that. It was only 2 years ago, so I was 15. I feel like I took it as well as I could. I was probably a little immature about it, but it's not like you can be experienced at that. You just take it how you can,
When my mom told me she didn't love me, that hurt. If your mom said that to you, that'll just make you sad. I don't know.
I got sent away by my parents when I was 16.
Yeah, man.
You want me to give you a minute?
I don't even know what like. I don't even know what like the most painful part of it was.
Pretty much. Like,
It's hard to find like a short way to say.
people have so much pain
So
held in them
basically,
that just
there
being
was a
real
lot of issues
brings it out.
like within my family, just
We
kind
don't
of
do
a
that.
lot of lack of communication.
It's
And
too scary for people.
things were hard, and I never really kind of got along with my family, and I was always kind of pushed to the side. And I kind of grew up by myself and went and did my own thing, and my parents couldn't really see it or never bothered to really see it or ask about it, I guess. And it was just their interpretation versus mine. And yeah, things were hard and they weren't working, and I was gonna go move out and live with my sister. And at 3 a.m., like before my flight, like these two people that I'd never seen before, I just walked in my room and they just dragged me out my house, took me to Oregon, where I spent 3 months in the woods. And then the next year and a half in Montana. And there's just nothing I can do about it. It's called a wilderness treatment program. I don't even really know. And then aftercare, I was at Montana Academy. It's like there's like a series of therapeutic boarding schools. You get your rights back once you turn 18. There's literally nothing you can do. Like there's nothing, and like it only gets worse if you resist, you know. To like lockdown facilities. I had friends that were like sent out of the country. You know, where you don't turn like a legal age till you're 25. You know, you're just forced to like clean and do drudge work for free. I mean, everybody's experience is different, but it was tough. And I really had to
Pretty
like
much,
mourn the
man.
loss of my
Nothing's worth this
family.
amount of suffering for anybody.
And
No amount of joy in this planet is
it's
worth
hard not to like be able to trust your family. Like your own parents. I'm about to be 21, which is crazy. Because it all feels like yesterday. And like not a day goes by that I don't think about it. Feel affected by it. In one way or another.
Do you have any like an escape from it? Is there anything that you're doing now?
Music, for sure. I love music. Any moment I can, I'm making music.
How would you describe your music?
I don't know, my music doesn't necessarily have a genre. I think that's the most important part about it. It's not confined to one, specific thing. But if I had to call it anything, I'd call it alternative hip hop.
Hopefully my followers will check out your music because I'm personally really curious to hear it. I'm sure they will be too. And thank you so much for doing this. I know it was tough for you, but I think it just shows like how strong you are that you were able to talk about it. And I feel like you're going to do a lot of beautiful things, honestly.
I appreciate that a lot.
The most painful thing I've been told was that my daughter has brain cancer and she's now in the hospital, and I'm trying to deal with that right now. Yes.
That my parents lost custody of me. My dad was a pastor, but he was also kind of a piece of so he did some stupid. I don't know. He wasn't one of those like legit pastors. It was like the bougie like fake ones. He got in trouble with the law, and then my mom didn't really do much, so they lost custody of me. I mean,
I'm bossy. I don't like that. You never call a guy bossy, you always call female bossy. I don't like that.
Do you remember who said it?
My mom. It made me feel bossy. It made me feel like I insert myself too often. I think that powerful women oftentimes get shut down, and whether it's blatantly or not, you would never think to call a man bossy. He's forward or he's a leader. He's not bossy, but females are.
When I was little, I was called a burro cabezón, and that means it's a jacket, but at the same time, it's kind of like you have a big head and you're dumb. There we go. Yeah, that would be it. And that was told by one of my teachers in third grade. My mom tells me I came home crying after that, and yeah, I think that one had affected my school career for the rest of my life. So, yeah.
The most painful thing was told in my whole life was that I was a sad excuse for a brother. My mom said it to me. Broke my heart. I was in high school. I was 17 at the time. It crushed me.
I am a failure as a father because you were gay.
He doesn't want to have kids anymore.
Go kill yourself, probably.
Your dad doesn't think that you should have two dads, so he doesn't want to ever see you again. I still cry about it.
I cheated on you, for sure. That was like the most painful thing someone's ever told me, for sure.
How'd you react?
I don't know, I went crazy, but but I mean, obviously you grow from stuff in the past, so it's all good.
when I was like in 8th grade, the guy that I liked called me like a fat pig, and ever since then I've been very like uncomfortable with my weight. And at the same time, I was going through like the beginning stages of like developing an eating disorder, so it like perfect timing, I guess. But yeah, so it was like I've grown past that and learned that like my body is the way it is, and if you don't like it, sucks for you.
Back when I was in elementary school, I guess I grew up kind of poor. So, I had like one coat and I wore that for about 3 or 4 years. And then I tried to talk to this girl and she said, sorry, I can't talk to you until you get a new coat. So I was hoping for Christmas that I got a new coat, but I didn't. So I never talked to the girl, but I'm older now and I'm over it.
There's this guy in, I want to say it was freshman year of high school. He called me a beluga whale. That was probably the most painful thing.
Oh, no,
I was
I-
really uncomfortable because I didn't know what my response should be, and he said,
I feel like
pretty
I've
much
called
say
someone
whatever I
that
wanted to say
before.
about him, but I just didn't want to think that wrong to make one right,
I'm rigid.
I was me to sling
Lots of people have
and I'm pretty sure I've said that to someone before. So,
I can think of one person in particular.
surprise
You know, when things strike you, when they're true, they kind of work into your heart
I'm an asshole,
center,
by the
and
way.
then they go ping because it's true. And so I felt hurt, offended, and
found out.
You laugh. Well, thanks for I'm
My
sorry.
son told me that I missed out on his birthday again for the second day, which is only like
I'm a
half
bully.
the day
I'm
because I had to
sorry.
go to work in the morning. But even feeling that guilt of not being there for the previous one, but all the other 7 I was there. You know, it's just that one all of a sudden, it's the biggest job in the world to be a role model. So being somebody that this person looks up to, and then all of a sudden hear something like that, it's kind of like, oh, you're letting somebody down, like big time. You know, and it's not a big deal compared to what a lot of other people have been through, but for me it is, you know.
Most painful thing I've been told is by the doctor saying that I have cancer. I knew how to handle it. I was like, okay, take a deep breath. It's gonna be all right. And I'm a cancer survivor. Yay! So
That's what you
I
think.
gotta
Comes
say that
back with fighting fury.
no matter what you're being told, you just gotta keep your head up, keep fighting. And you know, when you swim on the water, you're like you don't know how to swim, but you look for your way out, no matter what the situation is.
Thanks for watching another episode. Basically, I just want to say welcome to the new subscribers and to the subscribers who have been with me for a while. I want to thank you for constantly supporting my channel. And to the new viewers who haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I hope you get to the point where you want to hit the subscribe button and possibly the bell next to it so you get notified every time I put up a new episode. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys again for everything, and I'll see you next week.
Making a response video.
Making a response video. It's me, your boy Emendam, your man Gary, extra hairy Gary. Yeah, you go to bed, my dude. You have a take care and have a good night. I'll catch you in the stream sometime tomorrow or the next day. Chill. Yeah. We're just gonna close the stream off with a beautiful little closing thing, you know.
Just look at the function, okay? You can keep dreaming that you're doing something, but you're not. You're consuming so you can reproduce, and you're doing it in an environment of psychology, okay? Ego. These things of addiction and cannibalism, where you're basically exploitinist. You exploit the environment. You exploit the other animals to create an environment you can exist in. See the real price tag for everything you live in and on. How many animals had to, in some way or another, be consumed so you could have what you have. It's a mechanism that was built by crude forces. There's no temperament here. There's no controlling of how out of control it can get. And for you to impose that, to do it willfully and deliberately, yeah, in my opinion, is illogical.
The life itself sucks. That life itself is not something that's benign and neutral.
It's silly to say it's benign and neutral when you see in the world how unbenign it is. Elephant man disease, or, you know, as the grotesquest of the examples. But the brain tumors, the cancers, the horrible circumstantial deaths, the slow, miserable deaths being crushed in a coal mine, all this shit that goes on here every fucking goddamn day. And you say, oh, it's all benign because somehow I think my little adventure.
In this video, I'm going to explain why we see music and speech and other significant sounds as visual phenomena when we take psychedelic drugs, and why we see angels and demons and other assorted archetypes in these states. In other words, why there is in fact a biological explanation for what our ancestors referred to as a spiritual realm. That realm is a kind of sense of perception about the environment around us. And of course, this is speculation. Psychedelic drugs, like other things which reduce activity in the default mode network of the brain, give us a glimpse into our old perception and what it would have been like when we lived in the rainforest and experienced the world much more through instinct and much less through the rational style of thinking that pertains to that default mode network activity. And back then, we would see this psychedelic screen all the time, full of geometric patterns and Jungian archetypes. That would just be part of our normal perception. And what this layer of perception would do is very simple. It would make chemistry and sound that benefited us somehow register as visually or emotionally beautiful or appealing, and chemistry and sound which was neutral or bad for us register either as nothing or as something repellent to shoo us away. So to give you a couple of very simple examples about how this would work, if humans were eating a fungus into extinction, it could survive as a species if it evolved a chemical that caused humans to see a demon in their psychedelic screen. The humans would take this to be a physical entity, possibly the spirit of the fungus, and they'd run away accordingly. Conversely, if a plant or fungus wanted us around, if it wanted our manure or our ability to carry stuff, then the relational chemical specters, which would evolve in our consciousness when we ate its chemistry, would be lovely, benevolent hominid avatars. This is a way that the sovereignty and importance and role of each plant and fungus to the environment and to us could become legible. So although talk of things like plant spirits in the modern world just sounds made up, what I'm suggesting is no, what we're seeing is a fragmented echo of this. This is an archaic sense perception, and it's really the same as our other 5 senses, which also make good environmental things register as pleasant and bad things register as unpleasant. But this screen would have been a sense perception that was really quite linguistic in that it would use symbolic visual imagery that had evolved over generations to help us annotate our environment in a very detailed way. So why would this linguistic, symbolic style of perception come about in the first place? Well, it's not just that plants and fungi speak a different language to animals. It's more that they operate in a domain where the context and meaning of each to each other is harder for us to instinctively recognize. We have a natural instinctive understanding of the meanings of animals around us. We're naturally afraid when we see 8 legs on a creature or sharp teeth, or when we hear a roar or a hiss. We find the sound of birdsong pleasant, however. We find we're moved to protect baby animals by finding them unbearably adorable. So here, we're not understanding the language of these animals when they're communicating with each other. We're understanding their meanings to us and how we need to relate to them. And our ability to do this is helped a lot by the fact the way they behave is very similar to how we do. So we've already got the apparatus in our brain to hear their calls to each other, to see their movements. And this kind of stuff helps us gauge their meaning to us. However, to instinctively understand the relationships that plants and fungi have to us in the way they understand their relationships to each other, we actually have to have dedicated pieces of brain that were plant-like or fungi-like themselves, so we could conceptualize them more on their own terms. And you know what? Why bother? It's a lot easier to just have their chemistry talk to our software or our visual cortex than it is to have dedicated hardware that we have to carry around. That way, our software can give us an animal translation of what fungal and plant chemistry have proven to mean to us over the time we've been interacting with them. And what the resulting phantasmograms in our awareness tell us is a lot more complicated than just the ambitions of that individual plant or that fungus. I don't believe this is the plant or fungus speaking to us. What's speaking is the voice of the environment, which is telling us how to relate to these organisms in a way which benefits it as a whole. So to investigate this language of visuals even more, let's look at its analog in the physical world, because did you know there is a 3-dimensional precedent for this kind of language? The eyes that appear on the wings of a butterfly are a spectre or a demon. They scare off potential predators by pretending to be a predator. The orchid that looks like a female bee, whose aim is to get the male bee to mate with it, that's a spectral lure, drawing the bee in so that it'll transport some of its pollen. The flowers, which are like the geometric portals we see in altered states, tell us to stay here or to come here, and that's something I'll talk about more later on. So this language of visuals is something that appears in the physical world too, and some people would say it's a language of manipulation because the bee is being conned. It doesn't get to mate with the flower it thinks is a bee, but in fact...
We'll watch the rest of this video some other time in the future. I'm sure it's interesting to some people. You can feel free to watch it on your own time. I highly recommend you do so and subscribe to our channel. It's an awesome channel. And good night. I'm taking the sleep.